Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name's Alex. Welcome back to another training vlog. This is week 2 of our road to V11, and this is where instead of the usual, shorts videos that I post pretty regularly, we go a little bit more in depth with the analysis on the different climbs and the different movements that we've been trying to work on. So, without further ado, let's get started. I am also very sorry for the delay. I know it's been like 3 weeks since I've probably posted anything, but I just got back from Hawaii. I was there for 2 weeks. So, yeah, I'm very grateful for all the support there from all the different commenters from the last video. And I'm going to try and go over some of the comments that I read a little bit throughout the video. So, yeah, let's get started with the analysis, though. So this was a blue V8 slab, if you really want to call it V8. I mean, I'll say it. I don't think it's V8. I think it's probably V7. If that, I think the really hard part about this climb was just like different positions. All the grips were pretty bad at the top for sure, but I know that says a lot coming from someone that didn't actually send the climb. But I'll tell you why I didn't send it, and there's a couple of reasons. So there's something I want to talk about that's like I think a major theme that I've been working on recently when I've been projecting climbs, and that is focusing more on the position than actually going for the hold. And I think this climb does a great job of explaining this. Where if you look here, as we're watching, let's go in like slow mo. I don't know why it's not playing. Okay, there we go. So you can see here, when we go for it, we go for the hold, and then if you see really closely, the right foot, sorry, is popping. I tried again from the bottom. I don't really know why. Probably like this is where tactics could definitely be improved. I probably should have just kept working that move because the bottom was pretty down pat, I would say. Um, but what I mean by this is when I'm working this move, right? The only thing that I'm really focusing on, and I am focusing on the wrong thing. I'm focusing more on actually grabbing the hold on the left side, which, as you can see, it's not a big span for me. It's fine. But when I go for it, what's popping every single time? It's the right foot. So something that I feel like that's important, and I've seen a lot of my friends in the climbing gym that I project climbs with do the same thing kind of consistently, is we have a tendency where we just focus more on actually grabbing or going to the next hold rather than focusing on the position itself and keeping tension as best as we can before doing the next move. Because I think in that situation, for example, I kept focusing on, okay, I just need to grab this hold, and maybe that will be the reason that I stick this move. But the problem is even if I grab that hold, I'm so focused on grabbing it that I lose everything in my right leg. So I'm unable to stay on even if I were to grab it because my right leg pops. So that's like a little tidbit that we'll be going over a bit more throughout the video and throughout the session. This video will cover a couple different sessions. It's going to go over the whole week. So this was in a climb that I actually did send before this. I was trying to get a little repeat on it. And it was pretty bad conditions in the gym. So I really wasn't sticking very well on either in the first climb. I didn't really have good grip. It was really sweaty, very humid. Um, just a message to the climbing gym that I go to. If anyone knows where I climb, I'm sure it's pretty obvious to anyone watching. Please keep the garage door open a lot more, and please turn on fans because oh my god, dude, like it gets kind of frustrating to go to a climbing gym and like, to be successful in the gym and to have good sessions, like it's really important to have the right conditions. And the ventilation of my gym is terrible. It sucks. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. And what makes it even worse is they just don't ever have fans going, like, period. Like, I feel like I ask them to turn on a fan all the time. And then I come back around when I'm working something, and then the fan is just, like, miraculously turned off. And I'm like, guys, like, please. But, anyways, like, enough complaining about conditions. I just wish that sometimes, like, gyms had the forethought because it's like, guys, like, our success kind of depends on this. You know what I mean? Like, if we're hot and sweaty, we're just going to slide off, you know? But yeah, so anyways, ending the session off with a little climbing drill. It's one of my favorite ones. I don't do it much anymore, but this was something that I did a lot of, especially during this cycle, was I did these one-legged climbing drills. And basically the idea is you climb a climb that's under your on-site grade. So whatever you on-site, whatever you have, it's like whatever you can just go up and you just do it pretty easily, right? Probably do it a little bit lower than that. So at this point, I was like, I like typically feel like I can flash some of the good red tags in the gym on a good day if they're my style, you know. And then there's some other ones that maybe take me a couple moves I got to figure out. So a red tag in my gym is around V6 to 8. The idea though is to drop that grade down. So I did orange tags and I went for ones that were on the easier side. So like I think our orange tag grades are like V4 to 6, I'm pretty sure. And so what that means, so just to keep the level of difficulty low. And the idea is to use one leg only on the footholds or the handholds, whatever. And then the other foot needs to be smearing on the wall. What that means is you're going to get a lot of different movement variety. You're going to get a lot of more dynamic movement. You're going to get a lot of more contact strength going on because you're only able to use the one leg and to climb a climb with that leg. And it also teaches you as well how to smear a little bit better using your opposing leg, which I find really helpful. Sometimes I've noticed that people don't really smear very well. I mean, it's kind of a hard concept. So, I mean, it's not a hard concept, but it's kind of something that we don't do a lot of. I feel like until you get like kind of into the higher grades. So when you're not really forced to do it on some climbs, it's kind of nice to have drills like this that kind of force you to do it more because you get to learn the skill better. Definitely recommend some soft shoes if you don't use them already. That's really helpful for this kind of drill. And as you can see, I'm really struggling on this climb for it. It's kind of weird up in this section. I didn't really know what exactly to do. I was also pretty gassed by the bottom because I really didn't know how to like best utilize the volume. I didn't know if I should just cheat, if I should like use both my feet on that. I don't know. Sorry about this, by the way. I don't know why I didn't flip the actual camera. I don't know. Maybe it was like a conscious decision for me to maybe get a different perspective. No idea. But I think that I gave myself maybe a little bit too much constraint on this, whereas like I probably could have just like used the volume in a different way that was a bit more helpful. And I mean the volume at the lower, like where the starting holds are, because it's not really a handhold. Like you're not really using it as a hold. But I still felt like that would be kind of cheating, so I didn't end up doing it. And I really struggled on this climb. TLDR did not end up actually getting that one. And then here was another session later this week. I have a reel that popped off for some crazy ass reason. I have no idea why. Covering this climb. And it was really fun, man. I really loved this climb. It was awesome. I learned a lot through it. I learned I really like slopers. That's one thing for sure. But this was my last session on the climb. I couldn't have any other opportunities doing it. It was my last session, I think, period. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. We'll see. But this had a lot of learning to it, man. I mean, I will say for one thing, this move here was really hard. And we're going to come back to this concept that I was talking about earlier, which is positions. So that climb, that was the crux move, and we'll just go over it again. So we're coming up here, we match on this sloper. So what I mean by the positions concept again is here we are getting our left foot over and we're getting our right foot up. We're smearing on the upper portion of the wall to get over the lip, because if we're hanging under the lip, we're just not going to be successful. But in this position, I think the biggest thing that people are going to focus on, and I'm guessing this would be your answer, is just grabbing the left hand with everything you can, right? Well, what if I told you that's not the right way of actually doing this move? The proper way of doing this move is exactly the opposite thought, and you'll see. Because in this moment, I was thinking, I just need to grab this hand. I just need to get this left hand. That's all I need. That's all I need to do. It didn't work. I fell. And I was like, why? Why did I fall? We're just going to quickly go over here. Now, here's the move again, and notice something a little bit different. When I'm matching on this sloper, do you notice how I'm already shifting my weight over? My hips are all the way over left. It's positioning. So we're going to move up, and again, our hips are in a way better position. I mean, like, let's just go back to the other move, right? Let's go here. So here we are, we're matching on the sloper again. And notice the difference of my hips here. My hips are square to the wall, and they're not nearly as far left as they should be, right? As you compare here. See the difference? My left hip is actually it's pretty much right over the side of the wall. Like it's going around. And this is something I learned in that session was to get this move consistently, I needed to use my left, like my left toe was like important, right? I was like, gotta edge it, right? You gotta get it on that toe hold, on the toe. But what was really more important was actually shifting your hips over more so you could really sink on the left foot and then trying to get as much of your left leg as close to that wall as possible. And what that does is this. It prevents as much of the come out, which is what was causing me to drop that left hand, even though it's so shitty. I mean, that hand I think was probably like up to here. It wasn't great. But that's like literally the difference maker was just positioning. Nothing mattered about how hard can I grab this hold. Like everything that mattered in that moment was getting the right positioning down to make that move as easy as possible. And then from there on, obviously, I didn't send this climb. I was really close. Pretty upset about it. I'm not going to lie, I'm still kind of upset about it. I got to this point on this like little match crimp rail like multiple times and I did not end up sending it. And a lot of it came down to, I think, really bad tactics. I think that I stuck that move in the middle by just catching it a lot. And I didn't really think much about the positioning of it, the way of actually doing the move. And that caused me a lot of problems. And I mean, like, you're going to see it in this. I kept this video, this older session of it just to actually prove this point. You'll see me do this move where I actually just don't have, like, the right movement on it. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is the right video where I mentioned this. But I think I'm pretty sure I drop it. No, I did actually end up sending it. No, not sorry. I did end up getting the move, but it's because the position. I mean, you can see the difference as well here. Like, it's just so obvious, like, looking at it, it's just the hips, man. Like, I mean, the hips don't lie, you know what I mean? Like, shit. But yeah, so this climb, definitely a bummer. I mean, getting to the second last hold is obviously a win. So I can't really complain. I got it hella consistent, and I'm proud of it. So, but yeah, I mean, this is just something I think everyone could probably take away from their climbing experience is just like focusing more on stuff like this. Like these little things matter a lot more than you probably think. And here we are. This is my weekly like tension board 2 session. I think this is when I had a really good day. I think I sent like 2 or 3 sixes that day. I don't remember, but I know this V6. It's called Incinerate. I have a reel about it. It's pretty helpful. We'll go over the kind of the same stuff I'm going to be going over, but the main crux move of this climb was this one move where you go out right hand up and you have to prevent the barn door. And honestly, man, it's not even that bad of a move. The biggest problem I had in the first go, pretty sure this is my first go. Yeah, let's go back. Pretty sure the biggest thing I messed up on when I went for this move was I just didn't ice down my right foot enough. And what I mean by that is I just didn't dig down. Like, I kind of gave up on the move. Like, I had too much momentum when I went up as well, and that caused too much swing. So when I tried it again here, I just really tried to really focus on making this move a bit slower, which as you can see here, I used a lot less momentum, and I really, like, dug into my feet. Again, it's another one of those climbs where it's like you know where the hold is, right? You know where the hold is, and all you have to do is really focus on, okay, I know I'm going to catch this hold. I know this is what I'm going to do. But what I need to do the best right now is to just make sure my positions are good and locked down and my lower body is put together. That's all that mattered here, was really driving as much home through the lower body as possible. I figured out that move. I felt really confident. I was like, you know what? That's easy. I'm just going to go from the bottom. Let's rip it. So we get it from the bottom, feel really good about it, and we end up getting the send. So I'm really happy with this. I mean, 3 attempts on this is pretty nice. Excuse me. So I'm not really going to complain about it. So, and I will say, I do want to come back to this climb because I feel like the ending was a bit, how do I say this? It wasn't as like controlled. That's what I mean. Like it just wasn't as like nice as I feel like it could have been. I want to do that last move without cutting is I think like the main thing. This is another V6. This is called Chop Suey. And I gotta say, dude, that middle tension board pinch, the wooden one, is absolute dog shit. I hate it, dude. I'm working another project right now that I'm pretty sure uses. It's not that exact hold, but it's around there in the board, and it's awful, man. It's really hard, dude. I don't like that hold. It feels like shit. And a lot of the times with this hold, it's just like you either have it or you don't. So from the get go, we try to do it. It doesn't really go super well. I don't really know what I'm doing here. Like I didn't know like the best way of doing the move. I tried again, and then I just try to go into the hold really fast, and I ended up just catching the pinch because the pinch is bomber. Like that pinch gets recycled on the board like so much. It's like honestly one of my favorite holds. But that pinch is really nice. So as long as you just catch the pinch, like it makes like the move pretty easy. So sorry, and like that's something another thing that I'm trying to focus a bit more on is I think that like a lot of us as climbers have this tendency to kind of focus on okay, like I'm either a dynamic climber on the spectrum or I am a static slow snail climber, okay? I never cut feet. I don't jump. And the dynamic climber is the guy who never fucking keeps his feet on and he's always jumping. You know what I mean? I feel like there's two sides of that, and then it's like a lot of people like I feel like don't want to just be on the best of both. You know, like there are times where like being more dynamic is like better. Like it's gonna be easier for you. And I myself am probably on the right side of that spectrum, which is I am the static climber that really doesn't want to cut feet all that much. And I get it, it's more secure, it's more stable, you feel more comfortable when you're doing that. But it just doesn't help sometimes, man. It really doesn't. Like you just get thrown into a wall. And when I worked on this boulder, because this was not my first session on it, going out left, I would always try to just isolate it. I would try and lock off and come into the pinch. That's why when I was sessioning this, I knew that this was not going to work. I knew that by doing that, I would not catch this hold. I would just fall miserably. And so, as you can see, I dynamically go into it, and look how easy that looked. It looks so smooth, right? And that's the thing. Sometimes I feel like as climbers, again, we get really focused on just certain things that just like don't really matter sometimes. Like for certain climbs, you're going to need to use a different bit of skills, you know? And I think that like I sent this climb and I was geeked. I was so surprised 'cause I didn't fucking expect it. As you can tell by my funny ass face on it. And I was just like, I was ecstatic, dude. I was so happy I sent that boulder. Here is another V6. I don't fucking think it's V6. I'm just gonna say it. Anyone on that app who just like does this climb and you just say it's V6, I don't know what's wrong with you, man. Like, you're crazy. You're weird. Maybe it's a body type thing. I don't know. But Et tu Brutus, that climb is just hard. This climb's hard, man. This was not my first time working this boulder. I've worked this boulder off and on throughout many different sessions. Okay, like I think in total, the amount of sessions I actually have on the board are about 15 on on the TB2. I think I have right now like 98 ascents, right? I think right now, yeah. And this was the longest standing V6 I fucking worked on. This is the hardest climb. I think this climb I put more effort in than an 8 I'd already done. Okay, just FYI. And this hold, I mean, this move was just bad. It took me so long to stick that. So when I first stuck this move, I was like, okay, awesome. And it did not feel good. I'm gonna be real. It felt like crap. Like I was like, okay, great. But obviously I stuck the hold, and I was like, great. I'm just gonna do it from the bottom. And this is my last piece of advice on this on projecting in general, man. On projecting in general, I'm learning so much just by like doing these commentaries even. Okay, please have good tactics, please, dude. I know plenty of people at the gym. I have friends like this. I'm like this. I'm calling myself out here. I'm not calling anyone out. when you're working on boulders and you just try them, right? There are a lot of climbs in the gym that a lot of people will just not go up to because they're like, oh man, this thing's too hard. It's not my wheelhouse. There's no way I can do it. Bullshit. You can do it. 100%. You can just do it. There is just something that we don't do enough of, and that is just trying the move. And if there's something that's hard for you and you go up to it and it feels impossible on the first go, that's kind of great. Like it's awesome. It's an awesome feeling in my opinion. I like feeling like I can't do something. Because then once you actually get it, it's awesome, right? But when you're projecting things, something I feel like we fall into a trap of is we'll do the one hard move once and we're like, oh great, I finally stuck this move. I'm just gonna freaking go for it, man. Like I'm just gonna go right from the bottom, I'm gonna rip it. No. Hard stop, don't do that shit. Don't do it. Just instead of doing that, man, just try the move 2 or 3 more times. From that hard move, even do a couple more moves off of it. Like when I did that, for example, and you'll see what happens, I try the beginning again, and I didn't have the beginning rehearsed. So I'm doing the beginning, I stick this move. I'm actually kind of surprised, but I cut feet, so it's not really great anyways, and I drop it. So I got so confident because I caught the one hard move, and then I thought the rest of the climb was done, even though I haven't even done the rest of the climb. That's the first time I ever got there. And that's kind of what I mean is by like when you're projecting things, and like I do in the beginning again, what I should have done here is I should have just worked, and then you'll see I get it again, but I can't move out. I can't move out of position, right? That's what I'm saying. I should have, if I were to do this, if I were to actually project this climb again, what I would definitely have done differently would have been doing that middle move a bit more, like a couple more tries actually. Because I remember, and we go over this, we'll go over this climb again in another episode, but I remember very visibly like being frustrated because I'd be like, oh, I have the beginning down. And then when I get to this move, and I feel like I have it in isolation, but I don't feel like I can do it from the bottom. Well, it's because I'm not even doing like I'm not doing it like in the best way. Like if anything, I could have started with like you see like the green hold, right? The beginning, I would have probably started like this, where I have my left hand, sorry, already on the first grip, and I could have set my feet preliminarily, and then I could have tried that move outright with my feet to try not cut. You know what I mean? So I could have done that better. Could have given that like 3 burns, because the way you project things, it's like I like to give myself, like I think I went over this last episode, but I give myself 6 goes, like 6 solid attempts. Trying a move is not an attempt, to me at least. I don't count that as an attempt. I think trying the move 2 or 3 times, depending on how hard on how physically hard the move is where I would say, oh, this is an attempt. Or if it's like 2, maybe. And 2 is like my minimum. 3 is my absolute cap. That's going to be when I count. That's 1 attempt. So, for example, on this start, it's not really difficult for me. I would just try the start again, rest 2 or 3 minutes if I fall, or even if I did it, and then just do it again, and then do it again. Because you build the muscle memory of doing it, and then you just try and see how far you can go. So if you do the beginning, like let's say on the second go, after you did it the first try, and you have that really hard move coming up, just try it then. And then at least then, as long as you do it again a 3rd time, you're like, okay, my muscle memory is down. I know how to do the bottom. So let me come up, right? And I'll do the other hold. So that's kind of like my words of, projecting wisdom. I don't know if that makes sense. I know my voice sounds really croaky right now. And with traveling, I'm sure everyone can guess, you kind of get a little sick. So like I said, I'm back from Hawaii after 2 weeks. So I hope this video helps anybody else who is trying to project things and learn more, just generally speaking, about climbing. I'm going to try and get another episode out probably later this week. I'm going through a winter storm right now. I don't know if I'm going to lose power or not, how this whole situation is going to work. But I'm pretty hopeful. Like where I'm at, it's kind of hit or miss. So without further ado, though, one of the commenters last episode was asking about my warm-up routine, and I'm going to make a whole video about that, so that way I can kind of get something else posted in the meantime as well. And I'll probably add that to one of the later videos because I don't know when I'm going to get back into the gym to film it actually. So please be expecting that. I didn't forget about you. And yeah, so anyways, on to the next one, guys. Hope you, I'll see you guys in week 3.